These are the woodlands of Tor House, just outside Kilmaurs, in East Ayrshire. The farm in the distance is Jocksthorn, an old and unusual name. Just above these large beech trees, just over the horizon there, is the traditional site of Kilmaurs Castle. This would be the original stronghold of the Cunninghame family. Kilmaurs Place, that lies right overlooking the village of Kilmaurs, was certainly later a dwelling of the Cunninghame family. But this is traditionally said to be the first dwelling. Very little evidence remains on the site now. Certainly there's a reasonable size clearance cairn against the driveway leading up to Jocksthorn, suggesting a large number of stones. And I've had personal information from those who do metal detecting that they found medieval coins in that general area. Archibald Adamson, who wrote Rambles Round Kilmarnock in roughly 1870, he records that the Kilmaurs Place is not the dwelling referred to as Kilmaurs Castle. He walks across the fields here and he comes to the traditional site of Kilmaurs Castle up by these trees and states that in those days there was a round-topped mound grassy knoll, presumably the motte of the old castle. But he states that there was very few stones left in the area to suggest a building. So obviously extensive robbing had taken place by the locals for their own building purposes. Some of the maps of the 18th century show an area here not of pasture or ploughing, but possibly of woodland. And another map shows a dwelling looking rather castle-like in its appearance, sited at the traditional site just above here. Archibald Adamson also mentions that unusually around Jocksthorn Farm in those days, back in the 1870s, there were a large number of venerable old trees planted in clumps and in avenues, suggesting carriageways and rides, again something you would associate more with a castleted dwelling than you would with a farmhouse. Close to this site here was an old dwelling called Sandyford. This stream running down here is the Wood Hill burn, and that crossed under the main road from Kilmarnock to Kilmaurs. So this sandy ford has long been bridged over, and there's no signs now of the dwelling known as Sandyford, even though it was marked from about 1747 right the way through to the 1850s. The dwelling has completely vanished.